What is yours? R2, part 1 down below in comments. It does not really hurt that bad right now. Maybe a person does get used to this sort of thing. I don't care about the detail of the affair and how long it has been going on again. I just want her gone. Our not working is not all her fault. I carried a lot of hurt and anger from the affair and wasn't even close to trusting her again or giving her the marriage she wanted. I did say a million times though that if she ever thought she didn't want to be with me or go through this, then she should leave and I could live with that. Why she had to cheat, wait for me to find out again and then tell me she loves him, I will never understand. Act of a cruel, selfish person. I have talked to OMW and recommended this forum to her. She needs it bad. She still wants to wait for the other man after 3D days with my wife and who knows how many others with other women. I don't know details about current affair, if it ever stopped, if they did anything, etc. Once I read the email the OMW sent me, I was done. Do not care to know. D-Day the 1st of April 2021, D-Day the 2nd of October 2021, D-Day 3 yesterday. Who knows when it stopped, started, etc. On a side note, having a great day camping with family and friends. By the way, we are around our 30s. She still wants the kids. Once she gets a place and figures her new life and relationship out, we'll work out a schedule. My wife is here at the house sleeping in the camper for now. It's a little hard for me with her being here and I worry it is confusing the kids more, but I kind of understand. She has nowhere to go until she finds a place and this is legally her house as well as mine. She says she is also worried about what the kids will think when she leaves. She wants a place ready so we can give the mommy's house, daddy's house speech, not the mommy's leaving to go somewhere speech. I don't know what's better, but I do know I am done fighting. When stuff's settled and she's ready to leave, she'll leave. She's for her Romeo waiting. And you know what? He can have her. Their first fight or non-perfect day or night will be a test. My STBXW will always wonder every time his phone beeps if it's his ex. It's going to drive her insane. The OMW told me they were splitting, but she's a bit of a head case as well. She once told me that she told the OM she would stay married to him and he could have my wife as his mistress. I also see an email from my STBXW at one point that said she would be any part of the OM life he wanted. 180 does not matter to me. I am done with my wife and starting a new life. Pretty much same as old one minus all the pain. I am not trying to do a 180, but I am living it anyway. She is here for now, but that does not factor at all in my personnel life decisions. I don't want her back as my wife. Never will. I don't feel a lot of anger. The sadness I feel is not for myself but for my kids and the loss of my family unit and my future I had. I see not rush to get a piece of paper. I'm divorced in God's eyes and am free. She brought up filing and I told her go ahead. She can figure all that out. I know it'll take time, but if we for divorce tomorrow or in a year, it wouldn't change anything on my end. I'm not planning on getting married soon. I cannot kick her out legally and wouldn't at this point. We are getting along good considering what she did. We have figured out most of assets, debt split up and a kid's schedule. I really want to avoid a court battle and big lawyer bills, so kicking her out would bite me in the ass in the long run. I wish I never had to see her again ever, but I know with 2 kids that need us both that will never be possible. I don't know how she feels. Haven't asked and don't really care unless it involves our children. She gets a little emotional sometimes but quickly bites her lip and toughens up. She obviously thinks what she did us right or else she wouldn't have done it. And like I said, if she is hurting, I am indifferent to it at this point. Someday maybe we'll be friends for the kids and not just putting up a front for them, but that's a way away. Days later, she is looking for a new place now and will be out shortly. There comes a time when every betrayed man has to just admit they married the wrong women. I know I did. I just want a fair split of our assets, joint custody of the kids, and that she does not move the kids to be with her affair partner. This is all happening, so I see no reason to fight. Life will punish her. We have arranged a meeting with a lawyer to help us through the divorce process together. Hope to minimize arguments and expense by negotiating a fair settlement for both. We both need better understanding of certain things, so we are going together. The hope is to minimize cost, which can add up quick with 2 lawyers going back and forth. Put the agreements we have made in legal writing. And to have an impartial view on our situation. My STBXW is really dragging her ass on starting this new life she claims to want. Hasn't packed one thing. She's also acting freakishly normal around house. Woke me up because I slept in. She always set alarm clock and make my lunch for me as I was running out the door. Even gets uncomfortable close to me in certain situations. I flinch away or back up, but she does not seem to notice. I think she has been carrying on this double life so long that she just keeps going like that. Maybe she never would have left if she wouldn't have got caught. Maybe she's waiting until I snap, but for now I am getting along. Legally I am stuck. Either I leave or wait for her to leave. All I can do is get the legal separation. Divorce started. I could make a stink and throw her out, throw her stuff out, etc., but I'm not going to give her anything to use against me. I don't know what to do. The kids need their mother. They need us to not be at each other's throats. They need 2 happy, loving homes. If I fight, I might end up losing more of them. This man also has more money than I could dream of. I would be bankrupt fighting this in a week. Then what kind of life could I give them? She did try really hard after D-Day too. I give her that. I was too hurt and angry to give back to her what she needed. She had to ride it out until I was ready to move forward, if I ever was. And she couldn't. She needed a love I couldn't or wasn't ready to give, so she ran back to the other man who would give it to her. No regrets though. I was honest about my feelings the whole time. She should have just left and not cheated though. My inability to give her what she needed during our because of the way I felt was definitely one of the issues that led to D-Day 3. I knew she was struggling with guilt and the lack of her emotional needs not being met. She told me, and my answer would be that I could only give what I could give at this point, and time would only tell when I could give more. It was too hard on her. Still, she should have left and not cheated. We agree tonight to go straight to divorce and not separate first. She has agreed to sign the sworn court document saying she committed adultery so I could get an immediate divorce. I'm going to start the process. We also hacked out most of the details of the divorce: property, assets, custody, without going through lawyers. Still not legal yet, but the agreement is very fair and I would not change much. It was sad for us but relieving at the same time. I've said that to her too, that she did exactly what I thought she would do, which were the things I could not get past. I told her whenever we talked that it wasn't really a short-term trust issue I had, if that makes sense. I said that I could not trust that when things go hard between us or in life in general that she wouldn't run again. That's exactly what happened. We had a rough day, got in a fight, and she picked up the phone and called him. As soon as she did that and broke NC, the marriage was over. It's a pattern with her that has been happening even before we were married. I never believed she could break that pattern. She is becoming her mother, who even my wife admits is a pathological liar. Cycle that has to be broken with my baby girl. It's weird to me that my STBXW lying became so easy for her with regards to her affair. She is usually a fair, straightforward, and honest person. But now she can lie and not even flinch. As far as regular life goes, she's not a big fake storyteller or anything. She is extremely mistrusting of me, which I don't quite understand. She is suspicious of everything I suggest during this divorce negotiation. A few days later, I'm feeling okay. Went camping alone with some friends this weekend, but it was hard to enjoy myself because my mind was at home. My STBXW and I are getting along great, considering. Trying hard to keep anger, jealousy, and conflict at a minimum. I truly do love this woman. Let me make it clear that I want out of my marriage, but I'm starting to see that we can love each other, be friends, and have a new relationship as co-parents. She has even started to show regret over her decisions, and we even talked about her relationship with the other man. She seems to have put more thought into it and is slowing things down with him. She does not want the kids anywhere close to the relationship as well. She has even agreed that we can put something in the settlement about not moving the children out of our town to ease my fears that she's not going to take the kids and rush to live with the OM. We had an issue last night with her phone. She was in the house and it was beeping constantly. She texted a few times and at one point went outside to make a phone call to the OM. It was really pissing me off, but I kept my cool. I wanted to throw the phone in the pond. When I had a chance without the kids around, I addressed it. I told her how angry it was making me and how disrespectful I thought it was in more than a few words. She agreed, apologized, and will not communicate with him unless she is in the camper where she sleeps, or leaves the yard. We live on an acreage, so I told her if the high-maintenance OM has to talk to her SAP, then to get in her truck and leave the yard. Next time phone goes in pond. We have to decide to get a legal separation for a while before we proceed with the divorce. There are a couple things we have trouble agreeing on. The value of the house is one, and to be honest, I'm not sure yet if I want to stay on the acreage alone or move into town. A separation allows us to keep it in both of our names for now. I will keep living there. Also, the children. We both want equal time and access, but want to experiment with the schedule of the children to see what works best for them before a divorce. We think a separation will allow us more flexibility with that. Everyone on here have a great day. It actually still feels like we are a family unit. Minus the bonding, of course. I also don't have to care what she thinks about decisions I make either. The freedom is nice. If I want to go golfing, I go golfing. If I want to camping, I go camping. Everything with no guilt, dirty looks, or getting yelled at. It'll be better in 7 days when she moves into her own place. Then she can figure out how two serial cheaters who live in separate towns can make a relationship work. I'll be enjoying my freedom, loving my kids, and keeping an eye out for someone to warm me up at night once in a while. I can't picture a scenario right now where I would even let my children see me with another woman. The only way I could have a relationship anytime soon would be with a special woman who is happy, has a life of her own, and would understand that the kids will come first. Probably won't happen. My wife seems more friendly and content with me than she has in a long time. Could be because all she needs from me to be happy is to continue being a good dad, have a good relationship for the kids, and agree to a fair settlement in the divorce so she feels financially secure on her own. Everything else she needed from me to be happy are no longer my responsibility. She's either going to have to realize that she is responsible for her own happiness, or she'll make it the OM's responsibility, and the cycle will continue. Maybe there is a flip side to this as well. I was thinking about everything she could do so that I could feel happy again and not taking enough steps to work on myself. Now that we've taken all this responsibility off of the other person, things are good. Tension will probably only arise now when one of us feel the other one is not doing what's best for the kids, or possibly when we feel financial strain or stress because of the divorce. And probably when, if I see the other man or her with him, I am still a betrayed husband that is human. I'm having a great day. Things are falling into place. My STBXW agreed on some things that we were still trying to figure out before we see lawyer tomorrow. Very fair agreement. Last night she also agreed that we would put in the agreement that our hometown will be the kids' hometown unless we together decide to move them. I know she can't without going to court, but this eases my fears of her bolting with the kids to the other man who lives in another town. Also, some of the household stuff and furniture I will need after she leaves is falling in my lap. Looking like I'm going to be okay. We live in small town, so this will follow her for the rest of her life. I'm not looking forward to the day when the kids go to school and come home and asked what their mom did. Lawyer day for us. Drafting separation agreement. Feeling kind of low now. Just keep telling myself what she has done to me and what I want in the future. Sometime later. Back from lawyer. Feeling crappy. Going to be so cash poor when this done. Going straight to divorce again. Shared custody with kids and child support is fine though. My wife was nice enough to get all dolled up to go see lawyer, which happens to be close to where her new man lives. She does not even respect me enough to wait until she's in her new place before jumping on the new wagon. It's awesome laying in my bed with my kids in the morning while my wife is having an extra long shower, shaving her legs and whatnot to go meet another man. She thinks there's nothing wrong with this and says she just wants to be honest with me when she tells me she wants to go see him after lawyer. Awesome. I wish she would leave. 16th is supposed to be the day. I need her gone. Thought of the perfect analogy for how I feel about STBXW today. Loving her is like loving an alcoholic. She hurts me, our kids, and everyone else that cares about her with her actions. We all watch her hurt herself and feel pain. Most of the time she is drunk and I want to be as far away from her as possible, but at the few times she's sober, she is the woman I love. There comes a time though when you realize if you don't cut yourself off from the drunk, they will keep hurting you and drag you down as well. I still love the drunk, but from a distance. If the drunk ever realizes what she had done and stays sober, I will forgive her, but she will never be in the position to hurt me again. She never went to see him, something came up. I don't think she would take money even if he offered. She wants to do the financial stuff on her own, I think. Had a good talk with STBXW last night. I cried, she cried. Talked a lot about how we got to where we are and how we go forward. I told her about the things that she was doing that was bothering me, especially in regard to the OM. She said it wasn't her intent at all to rub it in my face, but she didn't want to lie anymore. She asked me what I wanted in regard to this. I told her to respect me enough to wait until she moves out and hide it from me like she did before. I don't need to know what's happening with them. We talked some more about everything, pretty much how the relationship went from D-Day 2 until now. We even got to a point where she asked me what I needed from her. I didn't really have an answer. I want her to stay and I want her to go. I wanted to wrap my arms around when she was crying and tell her if she would let me, I would fix everything. But I know that's not reality. It's gone too far. Divorce is settled. Lawyer drafting it up to sign. She is getting ready to move. Too much has been said to cause hurt from both sides that can't be taken back. Friends and family have been divided and angered. Kids have been prepped for what is about to happen to their family. Our jobs have been patient and understanding while we go through this again. Trust has been destroyed on both sides. She hates herself for what she has done to me. I wish I could go back and help her with the heavy lifting after D-Day 2 because I never realized how much guilt and pain she was in. I think both of us would use a time machine to go back about 2 years and start again together. Anybody got one? Comments. She is an adult, remember. Don't doubt yourself. T is called heavy lifting for a reason. I agree with Beowulf. It was said out of guilt, not remorse. Remember, she was back from meeting with the OM. She moved on so easily because she already left you some time back. You are the only one feeling regret in this scenario. She just has guilt from hurting someone she loved previously and had kids with. Nothing is left to salvage here. You keep re-engaging to find some closure and she is using it to fill in with excuses. OP responds, I agree with most of this, but I question some of the advice given in this form about heavy lifting, or I may have followed it wrong. For future couples, maybe we should discuss it. I was feeling all the terrible feelings a BS goes through. Struggling big time but never thinking about leaving my wife. Passing thoughts, but I loved her. She was destroying herself with guilt and at the time bending over backwards to earn my trust, forgiveness, and affection back. I wasn't ready to give back, and maybe I thought because I was suffering, she had to suffer also. She had to do the heavy lifting and deal until I was ready. I know she's a weak person emotionally and not as strong as me in that way. I'm just saying maybe I should have dug deeper to give something back when she told me she was struggling, which she did. Instead of just saying she caused this, now she has to do the heavy lifting until I felt better. Never being able to tell her when and if that would ever have happened. Part of me is still trying to find a way back through this mess. I am a good father. I was a good husband. I loved my wife but wasn't perfect, and marriage isn't a fairy tale. February last year, she asked for a divorce. I was blindsided. Spent 2 horrible months together while she planned to move. D-Day 1 was April 2021 when I came home from work and she had left her work phone laying around. Everything I needed. Turned out affair had already ended because OM had slept with her once and dumped her to go back to his then longtime girlfriend. I forgave my wife instantly and we went on. During the next 6 months I was super husband. I blame myself mostly for the affair and I wasn't going to let her down again. I attended to her every need and loved her unconditionally. I was happier during this time during any time in my marriage. I finally felt like I had learned how to be a good husband, man and father. Until then I had always still felt like a boy. I never knew about NC or any of this stuff and I let my wife continue to have work contact with the other man. I later found out they had met a few times during this time and continued to text and email each other the whole time. Other man even married his longtime girlfriend in the summer, so I thought for sure that this was behind us all. Like I said, I was happy and in love more than ever. D-Day 2 was Oct 2021 when I received a phone call at work from the OMW telling me she had found evidence. When my STBXW first cheated, it changed everything. Not just with us but with my whole view of the world. We were teenagers the first time we dated and I can honestly say I fell in love with her then. We both went through other relationships until we got married, but the dream was always her. She was the one I measured the rest against. It's not just her as she is now that is gone. She took every memory of the girl, woman I loved for 14 years and wiped them out. The woman I thought she was never existed. Everything she has ever said about love, family, marriage, was all talk. Everything she ever said or did was in question. 14 years were stolen and replaced with a woman who I now did not know at all, who wanted me to love, trust and forgive her. How could I do that? If a man said something nice to her and she didn't respond with "I'm married," then in my head she wanted him. Every day had the potential to be another D-Day. When I found out again on D-Day 3, it wasn't even that big of a shock because I had played the scene out in my mind 1,000 times. Of course, every BS knows how it changes your view of the world and how you now see other people. Last night my STBXW came to the house to tuck in the kids and then left shortly after. My 4-year-old boy was having trouble sleeping. I played with him and ran my fingers down through his hair and over his face, which he likes as he's falling asleep. I was feeling crappy before this, thinking where my STBXW was and who she was with. I was feeling alone. In that moment I realized that I was not alone. There was more love where I was than anywhere she could be. I thought that there is not a woman in the world I would trade this moment for. She has agreed to leave. Started with a fight tonight and ended up with some crying, hugging and more talking ourselves in circles. I know I'm weak, but what can I say? Even though we are getting divorced and I want a divorce, it's hard to let go. I'm 33 and loved her since 19. She asked me if I wanted her to leave and I said yes, or else this is just going to keep happening. To many emotions. She agreed. She packed some bags and left. It was tough but also a relief as well. I'm sure she feels the same. It's defiantly time to move forward and try and get a routine going with the kids. I need to start my home on my own and I needed the closure of saying goodbye, knowing she would not be staying another night. I hugged her and said goodbye. I needed that for myself. The longer she was there, the harder it was on me. She said she does not want to keep hurting me, but she does not know how to stop. I know it's only going to stop when I stop letting her hurt me. Last night was like the end words at the end of a movie for me. Now it's my home, my life, and she will only be a part of it as a co-parent. I don't want to be her friend. I probably will always have love for her, but I don't like her. I would not be friends with anyone else who caused me the amount of pain she caused me since I was a kid. Destroyed my children's family, took half my retirement income that she didn't contribute a dime to. Broke my parents' hearts, hurt, lied and betrayed all of our friends and family, carried on her affair, relationship when she was still living in our family home. I would not be friends with someone like that and don't want to be. So, my STBXW was back at the house and sleeping in the camper for the weekend. I received this text at work on Friday. I will be staying at house tonight, so you will need to make other arrangements. I will be packing. I told her I was making no other arrangements. I was begged. From work and what we went through the night before, I am emotional and physically drained. She asked me if I was okay with her staying. I said I would honestly rather if you left when I returned, because I don't want another repeat of last night and felt I got some closure last night that I don't want to reopen. Legally though, it's your choice. She said this legally I can stay. You will get all the closure you want the moment I pay rent. I said goodbye to my wife on Thursday when I thought she was spending the last night at our home. We had a fight, a long talk, crying, and I hugged her on the front lawn and watched her drive away. During the crying she said stuff like, "I don't know how to stop hurting you and I love you," followed by an explanation every time that it's love as the father of our children, love as the man she walked down the aisle with, etc. She asked what she could do to make this easier on me, etc. My wife was gone. She was there for a few moments on Thursday night when she was broken down. My heart swelled wanting to love and protect her, but this new woman quickly returned. I know this is hard on her too, and being a cold-hearted bee is her way of holding herself together. I can trust or believe a word she says anymore. I don't know how I'm going to work with her to raise our kids when she's like this. We are taking a parent after divorce course together that will hopefully guide us. On Thursday night we agreed together it would be best if she does not stay there anymore, and the next time I talk to her she's telling me to make other arrangements. Mind-boggling. I'm staying away from the house this weekend while she packs, but I'm sleeping there. She's packing. She boyfriend is sending a cube van for her to load stuff in. The kids are watching her pack. I don't think I'm a beta. Just wanted to say goodbye to my wife for the few moments when she is acting like my wife. The dismantling of my life is rough. Can't really start building back up until it's over. Sucks, but I know better things are ahead. Financial, I won't be too bad. Not really too much of a worry of mine right now. Now how to get my daughter to stop peeing the bed. That is a real problem. We tried again last night. No liquids at night. Woke her up a few times. Still this morning pee. To top it off, my nudist little boy took off his pull-ups and made a lake as well. She stayed in camper on Friday. Packed while I worked on Saturday and left for the night when I came home. Stayed out of town, do I assume, with OM is packing at house today. Not sure where she is staying tonight. She is gone for work all next week and her new house will be ready to move into when she returns. I asked my ex if she would think about leaving my retirement out of the divorce agreement. Here is the text I send, as I don't want to talk to her face to face right now unless it's about the kids. I would like to ask you to consider leaving my retirement out of the agreement. It can't help you in the short term to start over, and it's all I have to guarantee me any income when I'm older. I know you are entitled to it, but I started to contribute to it before we were married and have made sure it was growing throughout. You worked for most of our marriage and could have grown some retirement but never did so. I don't know when I will be able to afford to start contributing again, and it's stressing me. You chose to leave our marriage and take my wife and life from me. I'm asking you to not hurt me in the future as well. Think about it, please. She never responded, but hopefully is thinking about it. She has to be there to get her stuff packed and out. If she stays tonight, it will be the last night. I am going to the gym tonight for the first time in a long time. Kind of looking forward to it. I'll be alright. This stage will be the hardest. It's almost all torn down. Then I can build it back up. Back at work today and glad to be here. What a rough emotional couple of days. Most of her stuff is loaded to move and she will be gone until Friday. She will be back Friday and then gone again on set. I'm glad it'll just be the kids and I for the week. My parents will be there for the week and will help me put the house back together again and figure out what I need. The stuff she has left that I don't want will be boxed up and put in storage. Hopefully yesterday was the lowest it will get for me. I don't know if I ever shared this. The other man is also a BH. His first wife cheated on him and left him for another man. My ex shared this with me after D-Day too. He was advising my ex on what I would do, what I would be feeling, and so on. Even told my ex that it was the worst thing that ever happened to him. Add that to the fact that my ex was online and learned what a BH has to live with. How together they can say this is the right thing for everybody is more than crazy. With what I've learned here and through all this, it would be more than easy to manipulate a woman who is in a rough spot in her marriage. I know the exact things to say and do. I could never live with myself if I caused someone this much pain. This all started about 6 months prior to D-Day 1 when my ex was working underneath the other man. She has even said on here that it started with her complaining to him about our marriage problems. He knew exactly what to say and do to end my marriage and position himself as the other man because he had been through it all as a BH. It took time and 3 days, but he is now getting exactly what he wanted the first time my ex walked into his office. He's going to find out soon, when he starts to eat the sweet chocolate cover candy, what's on the inside. My ex has a condition that will cause her to age very fast. She looks great, but in reality, she already has the body of a senior. She really does not know what the future holds for her physically. It's a scary thing, and I know it's a factor in her decisions. I had accepted and was preparing to spend my midlife and senior years caring for her. Going from surgery to surgery, doctor to doctor. This was already a huge part of our life together. I can honestly say there was not a day when her health was not an issue. Really makes me wonder where she is finding the strength for all of this when a normal workday would leave her exhausted and in pain. Basically, what I'm saying is that in 10 years age really won't matter to them because she may be like an old woman as well. I would not wish her condition on anybody because I have seen the pain it causes her. She has up a husband that would have been there to take care of her and love her no matter what happens with her body. Will the OM or anybody else be there if the worst it happens? Time will tell. The moving van is still here for the week while STBXW is gone in business. I was not going to help her move, but I also realized I didn't want to sit around all week waiting for another awful moving day. I did talk to her about it first to avoid a fight and then got to work. My parents pulled their camper out to my place and we got to work. All the furniture that STBXW is taking was taken apart and loaded up. All personnel belongings that she had missed were loaded up. I had already got replacement furniture. We moved it in and set it up. Lying on my new bed right now actually. The house looks different and feels different, but it is still home. Wasn't near as hard to do the moving as it was to watch her move. I felt in control. It felt good. My mother is going to help me go over this place during the week with a fine-tooth comb so it shines. Maybe even do some decorating and maybe some painting. It's my home now. She is going to come home and drive the moving van to paradise. Me, while my kids are sleeping soundly, I'm spread out on an awesome new bed. My parents are here and I have a nice cold drink on the nightstand. This is paradise. She tells me the OM is getting divorced. She is renting a house in our town to move into. Other man lives in another town. I expect that when or if she does not find her happiness on her own, the next logical step would be to think that maybe if she moved to him, she would be happy. This would suck because then what about the kids? Would it be a battle? I don't know. OMW contacted me last night. I guess she has been gone for a week. She just wanted to know what was going on with my end of things. I told her what I knew. She seems to still be pretty in the dark about what's happening. She is still being lied to. Tried to give her some advice on moving forward on her own and such, but she didn't really want to hear it. She is still holding on, hoping the other man will change his mind. In the end, I told her she can text me if she's feeling crappy, but I didn't want to talk with her about my ex anymore. I told her I am done with all that and am getting a divorce I want. She is in a lot of pain that I understand, so I feel sorry for her. She's a hard woman to love, period. But I did. Nothing will stop the divorce now. If she came back promising the world, which she won't, I would still go ahead with the divorce. I need to find out what else is possible for me. If her condition ever turns to the worst and she is alone, I'm sure I would help out. She will always be the mother of my children, and my children will only ever see that I care about and respect their mother. Let's hope her body holds up and she can be strong. I have no illusions of raising these children alone, as I am already exhausted from this last month. My work is suffering and my to-do list seems to get bigger and bigger at home. I need her to get her place set up so I can get a break. Not saying I couldn't keep doing this if I had to, but it's best for the kids and for the both of us to raise them co-parenting. As for the other man, I hope she has explained her condition to him and he takes the time to learn about it, how it affects her and what she'll need now and in the future. If they stay together. If he's not there, then it will fall on her father, my children, and ultimately me. I hope he is man enough to see through what he started, but the history of his character says otherwise. I obviously am not a big fan of this man, but in the future the only problems I see arising are if they try and go to court to try and move the children to where the OM lives. I don't think this will be an issue because not too many men want to raise somebody else's children, especially when his are older and he, again 50, is at a different stage in life than I am, 33. I say good luck to them, be happy. If you're not, then all this will have been for nothing. Part 3 ending coming in a few hours. Need to grab a quick breakfast while I finish Part 3. It will be uploaded soon.